Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gen Sense. Hope that you're doing well. You know where the shirt's from? You get a virtual high five from me, so there we go. If you don't know where it's from, it's okay. You're still okay in my book. Today we're talking clone fragrances, more specifically, fragrances that I feel like have a much higher quality than what you might expect when you look at their price point. These ones are amazing quality for an amazing price. And we've got 8 different ones to talk about here today. All of them will be linked in the description in case you want to check them out down there. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it with the first one. It is called Hardwood. What a name. And this one is from Fragrance World. So if you're familiar with this fragrance, what it's cloning, then you're gonna know immediately what it is cloning just by the look and the name. It is a clone of Bath & Body Works Mahogany Woods. Now I know what you might say to yourself if you're unfamiliar with mahogany woods, like, Bath & Body Works fragrance? Who cares? You know, I could go into Bath & Body Works anytime I want and pick up any of their fragrances for what, 25, 30 bucks, something like that. Watch me be way off and it's much more expensive now, but the point stands, Bath & Body Works, whatever. But Mahogany Woods was not just any Bath & Body Works fragrance. Mahogany Woods was the fragrance from Bath & Body Works that everybody wanted. It was the creme de la creme, the top, the best. And at the price point that you could pick it up for, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I actually bought a couple backup bottles when they discontinued it because they were basically just selling them for nothing. Just clearancing all those fragrances because there were other ones at the time that they were getting rid of, but Mahogany Woods was the standout. So I bought multiple bottles of it. Now, of course, it has mahogany as one of the notes in there. I mean, obviously. There's also vanilla, there's cognac. It has a really nice boozy warmth and sweetness to it. There's amber, sandalwood, tonka, little citrus, just a really top-notch scent. And it was so good that Fragrance World cloned it after it was discontinued. And believe me guys, when I tell you that for the price point, Mahogany Woods was an insane buy. Such a good deal. But now, with discontinuation, not a good deal anymore. And when I say not a good deal, I mean, oh my God, are you seriously asking that much money for it? Yeah, that's the type of deal that it is now. On eBay, people are asking, maybe not getting, but they're asking sometimes $300 or more for a bottle of Mahogany Woods. So if you loved that scent, you know, it is very difficult to get a bottle for anything that is not many times higher than what it used to go for. Enter this one. Hardwood is a fantastic clone of Mahogany Woods. It is extremely close. The price point is really, really low on this one. The presentation is very similar. Fragrance World absolutely crushed it with this one. Very, very, very good for the price point. To the point that honestly, there is no point in buying Mahogany Woods anymore, considering what it goes for. This is what you need instead. After that, another one from Fragrance World. This one is Spectre Ghost. Pretty cool bottle on this one. I mean, some people maybe would view this and think that it's too tacky, but you know, in the world of clone fragrances, man, I've seen a lot of different bottle styles, and this one at least feels decent. Like it's got nice heft to it, and it looks like at least there was some thought put into it, even if the bullets on there are a little bit extra. So Spectre Ghost is a clone of Ani from Nishane, and it is very good once again. And this one as well, this is very nice. Ooh, really good pressurized atomizer. It's the little things sometimes. You immediately get that vanilla, that sparkling vanilla off the top in here, just like you do in the Nishane. You get that ginger coming through here, that citrus off the top as well, that spiciness, all of it in here comes across very well done. The quality is here, the performance is here, all the aspects from Ani that you want are in this fragrance. Again, the quality here much higher than you would expect for the price point. Now, a super cheapie. This one you can find sometimes for under 20 bucks. It is from Zamaya and it's called Tera Black. You can almost tell that this one is really, really cheap just by the presentation because they put like one itty bitty tiny little crystal right there. You know how oftentimes in clone fragrances they'll have little crystals kind of scattered all over the presentation in caps sometimes. Probably Club de Nuit Intense Man is the one that people are going to recognize the most as having done that, but it's fairly common. This one, they gave it just one tiny little sad one. This is a clone of Montal's Arabian's Tonka. And again, for the price point, sub 20 bucks, a very good deal. Now, just like with the Montal, it's not gonna be for everybody. Some people are gonna smell this one off the top and just be like, oof, too strong, too harsh, too whatever. But if you're familiar with the Montal, kind of already know what you're in for. And at that point, it's not going to shock you at all. Not that I think it's necessarily shocking fragrance. It definitely doesn't hit you and just, or anything like that, but just some Montals sometimes don't do it for people. Arabian's Tonka is one of the more popular Montals that have come out over the past few years. I think it's got a nice wearability to it, good sweetness. Kind of balances out that darker aspect that the scent can have. And just really well done for a fragrance that is bargain bin. This is about as cheap as you're gonna find a fragrance out there. This next one you can find for about $25 sometimes, which is, again, really, really cheap. It's from Lattafa, and it's Body Al Oud Sublime. Now this one does lean more feminine than anything else that we're gonna talk about here today. So keep that in mind. It's really sweet, very fruity. Woo, yeah, super fruity. And this one is a clone of Kayali Eden Juicy Apple. So this could be one that you get just to wear for yourself, or you could get it as a gift, or some people will use this as a bit of a layering fragrance. So they won't use this as the main scent, but then they'll use like a little bit of it to provide a big fruity blast with something else that they're wearing. So this has apple, rose, lychee, plum, and vanilla as some of the notes in the fragrance. The lychee is gonna be one of the things that sticks out the most, one of the more unique things about this one. And in general, I would say this line from Lattafa has some really good fragrances, really good quality fragrances that don't cost all that much. After that, we have another one from Fragrance World. It is Proud of You Absolute. Look at that. What could it possibly be a clone of? Well, it's very obviously a clone of Stronger With You Absolutely from Emporio Armani, which Stronger With You Absolutely, my favorite from the line, and unfortunately really difficult to find for a decent deal in the US. It's very often not at any discounters, and then when it is in stock, nowadays it's like 115, 120 a lot of times. So obviously if you've got a fragrance that's highly in demand that you really can barely find, and then when you can find it, it's quite expensive, something like this is a boon to a lot of people, because this is not expensive at all. Now, it's not quite as strong as Stronger With You Absolutely is. That one is quite strong off my skin. This one, though, does still have enough power to get the job done. It lasts a good amount of time, has that sweetness, that warmth, that gourmand feel that you want from a Stronger With You Absolutely clone. That bit of booziness, little touch of powder, really well done. And again, for the price point, especially compared to what Stronger With You Absolutely goes for, it's a steal. A lot of Fragrance Worlds in here, and there's another one coming up. But not this next one. This next one is from Rasasi, and it's called It's Essential. This is a heck of a find. So this one I got in as part of a haul, and it is a clone of YSL's L'Homme Ultime. And L'Homme Ultime was one of my absolute favorite springtime fragrances when it existed. Unfortunately, it's been discontinued for a while, and this one steps in and fills that role. It's really similar to L'Homme Ultime, and this one I think was like 20 bucks. Yeah, just awesome deal. Now, when I first got this one in and first sprayed it on, it was kind of messy when I first sprayed it, like the very first time. I smelled it immediately, and I was like, kind of a lot going on there. It didn't really smell cohesive. And then about 30 seconds in, dried down, smelled really, really good, because at that point I was like, L'Homme Ultime. And again, I love that one. It's got citrus rose, extremely fresh rose though. It's not jammy and heavy, so it gives you a unique, classy, sexy springtime scent. Again, just smells awesome. The ginger in there is fantastic. And then this, again, reminded me of that, so it was like, oh, this is, thank you. Now here's how this has changed. As time has gone on, the opening of this one is no longer kind of a mess. Because again, the very first time I sprayed it, it was. The opening was not cohesive. But now, like I sprayed it on just now, it smells awesome in the opening. So boom, 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 you can just go in right away, So it's essential. This is L'Homme Ultime on the cheap. If you loved that one, get this one. Just be aware that the first time you spray it on, you're gonna have to let it settle. Once it settles, you'll see that L'Homme Ultime comparison. And then within a week or two in the opening, it's not gonna be messy anymore. It'll be really good right from the rip. Then we have Intense Peach from Fragrance World. So 3 of the 4 Fragrance World fragrances in this video are just very similar to what they are inspired by. And then Spectre Ghost over here is just doing its own thing, bullets and everything, trying to look cool. Intense Peach, Bitter Peach Clone by Tom Ford. This one is absolutely lights out. The opening here is killer. Yeah, oof. Don't have to wait for it to settle or anything, just immediately smells great. Very, very peach forward, obviously. I mean, that's the name. It is not as bitter as Bitter Peach is. This is more of a sweet peach. Quality is really nice. I love the way it smells. Unisex. I don't think personally that it leans too far feminine, but some people would say in general that anything that smells like Bitter Peach is gonna be a little bit more feminine leaning. For me, unisex right down the middle. Just great quality on this one. Of all the Bitter Peach alternatives, this one's my favorite. And then last but not least, I actually just threw this one in right before I started filming. So I had these 7 picked, and then I was like, oh, that one's actually really good too. So it's this one from Dua, and this is called Caribbean Supernova. Now this is gonna be the most expensive one here easily, if we're talking about a price per milliliter, because this is only 34 milliliters, and you know, all these, obviously much bigger. It is an extrait de parfum, so hypothetically, it should last longer than you know, an eau de toilette would of this size, because you would use less of it. Now, price-wise, this one was, I believe, $65. That's what it was going for when I picked it up, but they had a 33% off coupon, so you could use that, and then instead of 65, you know, it was like 40 something. So not crazy expensive when you're talking about just the price point, but then if you factor in price per milliliter, it gets closer to like $1 per milliliter. But this stuff smells really, really good. So this is a hybrid. Basically take 2 fragrances and smack them together, and that's what you've got going on here. Virgin Island Water from Creed, and then Elysium from Raja Parfum. So when you first spray it on, it's more Virgin Island Water. So it's more of that coconutty kind of boozy, sea salty vibe with Elysium underneath. Then as it dries down, they kind of swap. And then Elysium becomes more prominent, and Virgin Island Water is the support. So initially Virgin Island Water with Elysium as support, and then swaps as it dries down. I do not have a huge amount of experience with Dua. I reviewed 2 of their fragrances years back. I think it was like 5 or maybe even 6 years ago. And one of them I did not like at all. The other I thought was pretty good. So one was an Aventus clone, the other was Baccarat Rouge 540. The BR 540 was the one that worked better for me. And then here, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I picked up 4 of them, and this was my favorite of the 4 that I picked up. So I want to give them props on this one. It smells really, really good. They've got nearly like 2,000 on their website. It was like 1,900 when I was looking on there. So I can't help you past this, okay? So like, don't start hitting me up and saying, hey man, what about this? I have not smelled 1,900 Dua fragrances. I smelled like 6. But there we go. These fragrances, I think they smell fantastic for the price point you can pick them up for. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you again another day with another video. See you guys later.